Okay, so welcome to my spring themed museum here. So some of this stuff is still the same. So these planters in front were still there, but I added some hedges and some extra plants to the front, as you can see here. Once we enter the museum, first thing you're gonna notice is a lot of plants, a lot of different trees. The wallpaper is that forest theme. And I have dirt floors throughout this first and the second area, in addition to all the plants. So this might seem more summer themed, but I was trying to go for a rebirth, living things type of theme here. So you can see more dirt floor. At least in America, I think of spring as being muddy, lots of dirt. You don't quite have all that grass yet. So the dirt floor represents that. We have the explorer benches here with the vines, a few more plants and trees, and the hanging roses. Some of those brightly colored flowers are really common in the United States, during the spring at least. So as we go into the dinosaur exhibit here, you can see most of the decorations are kind of plant themed. Lots of those kind of palmy, elderly looking trees. Lots of the vines, hanging plants. Have my green benches here on top of grass. Green usually means spring because everything is growing back after a long dead season. So it's a kind of mix. We got the rain with the mud and the dirt and the grass, and the green is starting to show up. Another part of my spring themed museum here is our first botany area. So you see a lot of the green. I have the purple flowers in here. Lots of botany exhibits. And this is just one of two of my botany areas in this specific museum. As we go on over, we have this exhibit here, which is the mulcher for the plants. So when you get exhibits that you don't necessarily need to sell them or whatever, you can mulch them to create those little bushes to hide in on exhibitions. So a mulcher. Mulching is actually an important part of the spring season, so I felt like that fit in pretty well. I added some dirt patches along the edge here and some pink and purple flowers for the outdoors. I actually have another area over here leading into another part of my museum where it's the white and yellow that I've added, and I've added a few of these round bushes in here. So this area over here is not exactly spring themed. However, I wanted to focus in on this area, these two areas right here. So we have our frog-born space area, and this area over here. So the gravel here and the grass and fences are kind of meant to be like later on in the spring season, closer to summer. So you're gonna get out more mowing your grass, of course. Maybe driving with your top down. Frogborn just seems like a general spring type thing to me. At least that's always what I thought about of the Frogborn. So I've got a few of those exhibits, the little pond right here, and more of the green and fencing. But the rest of that area, the space area, is really not spring themed, so I'm not going to focus too much on that. Now when I get over into this area, we have our Sonic themed floor with a dirt floor, more of the explorer arches, and my second botany area. So I have all these botany exhibits, a few of these flowers here, the vine columns, more of the green stands, more of the bushes. I actually kind of want to expand the spring theme because I think it looks pretty neat. But we have more of that forest wall here, more vines. Just really, I'm trying to make the whole museum almost spring themed, even if the exhibit itself isn't spring themed. So you can see my pathways over here. I've actually started working on my science exhibits, creating a pathway with these roses, trellis, and some of those creations. So really, this is a work in progress. But once I'm finished, this whole area is gonna end up being very spring themed. I tried to make it the grassy area. And then over here, skipping over the rest of that space. So really this area, I didn't think could be really spring themed, but I did add a couple of flowers in here just to appease my guests. Just to remind them, hey, this might seem more fall themed or more Halloweeny, if you will, very spooky. But even in the darkness, there can be the light here, so I put these purple flowers in, a couple of them. But yeah, that's my spring themed museum here. I'm most proud of this area here, just because it's a lot of those earthy, flowery tones. And then these two botany areas here. And the outdoor lined areas with the flowers. So yes, hopefully you enjoyed. I'm looking forward to seeing everyone else's spring themed exhibits as well.